What's going on? Today's video we're going to talk about VS Code. We're going to talk about what is it, why you use it, and how to make it work for you. Let's go. Visual Studio Code, commonly referred to as VS Code, is an open source text editor made by Microsoft and is cross-platform for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. It is fast, it's easy to install, simple to use, support for hundreds of languages, extensions to add more functionality, making it a full-fledged IDE. Voice customizability just to your liking. Intelligent code completion with IntelliSense. Git integration for source control. So let's start with more. Alright, now that we have our VS Code open, the first thing I recommend you to do is create a project folder called development, for example. I already created mine, so I am just going to select it. Alright, now let's look at the command palette. You see, the command palette is the first keyboard shortcut you should know. With this, you can access all the functionality of VS Code, and this also shows you keyboard shortcuts. If I type in keyboard shortcut reference, you can get all the keyboard shortcuts for VS Code. You can then print it if you want. It's great to know some keyboard shortcuts, as this will enable you to write code faster. So learn those keyboard shortcuts. You can also customize it just to your liking, but I just use mine how it is. One of my favorite shortcuts while coding is the multi-cursor selection. This allows you to change the text that you want to have the same characters rather than copy and paste, and this saves a lot of time. Moving along. Oh wait, I forgot to tell you that you need to turn on settings sync. You see, this allows you to share your Visual Studio Code configurations such as settings, key bindings, and install extensions all across your other devices rather than going through the pain of setting up another one. Alright, now some basic settings. First of all, you can change how to save to after delay. Rather than pressing save on your keyboard every time, this automatically saves your file for you. Next, change the font size to your liking. I use a font size of 15, but it depends on whatever screen I'm using. So if I'm using a larger screen size, I will use font size of 18. The font I am currently using is Cascadia-Code. This might change, as I am someone that loves changes, but I use it because it consists of ligatures, and these are ligatures. FiraCode is also a good shout. I might go back to it. Another great setting to change is word wrap. By default, it is off, so I change it to on. Before, I never knew this, but this is a huge difference, as you can now see your code in the viewpoint rather than the words spreading across the screen. This was such a pain. You also want to use Minimap, which gives an overview of your source code, which is useful for quick navigation and code understanding. I remove render characters to just show the code blocks. Another setting to change is bracket pair colorizer. Set this to on, as this enables you to see which brackets match with each other. Before, there used to be an extension for it, but it's now built in and is faster. let's look at themes. This is where you change the vibes of VS Code. There are a lot of color themes to choose from, and the one I am currently using is Code's theme, as I just like the look, but I changed mine a bit. This you can do in settings, and you can check out this page right here if you want instructions on how to do it. Also, you can change the file icon theme. The file icon theme I am currently using is VS Code icons. Material icon theme is also a good one. You can also check that one out. Moving along to some extensions. These are some essential extensions you need. First up, Live Server. This lets you open up a HTML file in your browser, starting a live server so you can see what your code looks like. Live Preview. Also similar to Live Server, but it just opens up in VS Code. You need to have a code formatter for the language of your choice. This helps in making your code more readable, one of which is Prettier. This works for HTML, CSS, and also JavaScript, among some other languages. Check that one out. You also need a linter to check that your code does not have any bugs or errors and that it follows the syntax of the language that you are using. Auto rename tag. As its name suggests, it automatically changes the paired HTML/XML tag. Since we're talking about tags, let's look at Emmet. This was also an extension, but it's now built in. This allows you to code faster, and you can do things like this. Snippets. This allows you to code faster as well. Some are built in with IntelliSense, and some you can get for the language and frameworks of your choice. Another one to check out is Code Spell Checker. We all make typos sometime, as we are not perfect, and if you miss it, then you have to search through the whole code just to find this error. And this is where Code Spell Checker highlights those typos for you. Next one, to do highlight. This highlights to do and fix me comments, so you can find them. Great if you're coding something and you left it for next day. You can quickly find what to do. Other one to check out is color highlight. With color highlight, you can see the highlights of your color in CSS, so you can see the color as you type. With CSSP, you can see your CSS in HTML and JavaScript, and you can move quickly to CSS. Alright, that's it for me. Hope you learned something from this, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep going. Alright. Peace.